Pardon the interruption. We don't mean to interrupt the already scheduled programming, but we promise you we'd be doing that
Actually,
all
we
day
do mean to
long.
interrupt.
Yeah, we do. In fact, we have to interrupt because we've got someone that you have got to meet back here at Spirit Fest USA in Dulles. Actually, it's Chantilly, but it's right down the street from the airport. So if you are in the area, this is the place to be today. And the person to be with is Patrick. He is an angelic healer. And we know nothing about him, so it's exciting to talk to him to find out what he does, because we've already been told that he's already thrown someone for a loop.
Well, I was going to say, we do know one thing, that he can like put the whammy on you,
Yeah.
to where you got to wait for driving for a little bit.
Yes, you got to be very careful when you get up out of my booth.
All right.
My gosh, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, so Patrick, what is it that you do? How do you put a whammy on someone?
So basically what I do is once I lay hands on someone, the Holy Spirit comes in. It is not Reiki what I do. It's very deceiving because people think it's a Reiki, but it's not. I pull directly from source, which is God energy. I channel Christ energy, all the angels. You actually decide, your subconsciousness decides who comes in when I touch you.
Oh, that's
So
a little scary.
It's very exciting. I never know who comes through, but I can tell the different energies, and sometimes they'll announce themselves to me. And they'll let me know who it is that's coming in.
So the big question that jumps to mind is,
I know what you're going to ask.
have you had fallen angels come through?
Not necessarily fallen angels. Normally, I work with the higher angels, the archangels.
Okay.
And I work a lot with Jesus.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
You got some cred, Patrick.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of people have Christ moments.
Wow.
Wow. You're bypassing everything, just go straight to the man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when he comes right in, I'm very close with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually have a very unique two-way communication with him directly when I'm channeling. So I can ask him questions. He'll talk to me.
What does his voice sound like?
I don't know, because when he does speak to you, it just comes into your mind.
Yeah.
The voice comes right in. It's not
Okay.
actually with volume or anything, but you know what he's saying.
Yeah. Wow.
It's very interesting.
I can only imagine.
I was kind of hoping you'd say it's really low. Hello, Patrick.
I would imagine father's in there. His energy would be that low. It's like, whoa.
So how did this happen? Have you been like this your whole life, or was there a moment?
There was a moment. It was about 15 years ago. My ex-wife brought me to a little place in Venice, Florida, to get a reading on a Psychic Saturday. And I had never gotten a reading before. So when I walked in, there was a board full of psychic readers. There was about 9 of them there. And I said, well, I'll take that guy, the weirdest one on the board. And I kid you not, he was very strange looking. He looked like Richard Dawkins.
Oh my goodness.
And he was gimped up like that too. Not to make fun of anybody, but that's what he looked like. So I was like, yeah, that's my guy right there. And when
That's
I walked
incredibly
in,
brave, Patrick. I would have been like, don't go with this guy.
No, he's the one that's got the stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
I just knew he
Right.
was going to be the one. When I walked in, he sat back and looked up at me and he went, oh my, who do we have here? And I was like, oh, my name is Pat, So he says, like, so sit down. And he tells me to put my hands out like this. I put my hands out and I don't know what he's doing. He puts his hands over my hands. And I felt this like lightning going between the two of us. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. So
I bet.
Eventually, a few seconds later, I pulled my hands back because I was a little nervous. I'm like, what's going on here?
Right.
He sat back, started laughing hysterically. He goes, did you feel that? I was like, really? Yeah, of course I felt it. Like, that was insane. What was that? He goes, well, that was you. I was like, that wasn't me. That was you. I was like, we're playing Laurel and Hardy now? I mean, what's the joke here? He says, oh, no, this is no joke. And then all of a sudden, the guy tilts his head. I could tell he's talking to spirit. And I'm like, wow, he's got some connections here. And then he comes back and he goes, wow, you don't know, do you? I said, I don't know what. He said, you're a healer. I said, well, what is a healer? I had no idea.
So did you know anything about this world before you went to this thing?
No.
Nothing.
My very first reading ever in my life.
Wow.
In Florida.
In Florida.
In Venice, Florida, yeah.
And this guy, his name is Richard Blanchard. Your audience can look him up. He is actually a very famous, gifted psychic medium. He's from Lilydale, New York, where they all come from. And I picked this guy. Well, my 15-minute reading turned into an hour and 20 minutes. His staff was going berserk. They were coming in going, Richard, it's time. Like, you got to get this guy. He's like, I'm not letting this guy out of my sight.
Well, I mean, I would argue that his 15-minute reading turned into a lifetime.
It did. We became very good friends over the years, and I've had many readings, and he was predicting where I'd be today 10 years ago.
And did you believe it at the time?
No, I told him he was out of his mind.
Of course, yeah. That'd be everyone's first instinct.
But it's interesting because here I am,
Yeah.
and it's about to explode.
So what kind of healing do you do? Like like how big the infliction can it be? Like, can you
Anything.
really?
Yeah, because now if they come to my tent, I only have 20 minutes. It's not very long. So I always ask them up front, is there anything bothering you that you want me to address? It could be anything from, suffering some mental issues, stress, relationships. It could be physical. Be something. I get a lot of people come in with sciatic nerves or something like that are bothering them. And then they walk out and they're like, oh my gosh, no more pain.
Really?
Yeah. And then the energy doesn't leave. What I do is different. I tell people, you might feel a little different in a couple of days from now, 2-3 days. You're going to wake up and go, wow, my leg pain is gone. Or I get this a lot too. When somebody lays down, and all of a sudden the spirit's telling me what's wrong with them. So I just go up and I'll grab their knee, and then they'll go, wow, I didn't tell you I had an operation on my knee. And you just put your hands all over it. And I'm like, you don't have to say anything.
Wow.
Because they know. And I get challenged all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Constantly.
So have you ever found that you've activated someone like you were activated?
It's a good question. I have had a few people come back and tell me that after that I've worked on them, that they're starting to follow their spiritual path.
Okay.
So kind of like an awakening for them.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
First step.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm like a pit bull. I can't let go of that affliction thing. Can you handle like cancers and stuff?
I have. If you look at my website, you'll see some crazy testimonials. And I tell people, you could not make these things up. I have worked on surgeons out of Miami that have had diseases that I completely cured. I've had other people with like all sorts of autoimmune things that come back to me a year later and say, yeah, my stuff is gone ever since you worked on me. I get testimonials like this all the time.
Wow.
And is it just like you work on them once and they're good, or do they have to keep coming back?
It really depends on the individual. Sometimes I work on them once and I tell them, it's up to you. If you want to come back and see me, please do. If you feel like I helped you, come back and see me. Other people I'll work on 6-7 times and never see them again. And then I'll run into them 2 years down the road and they're like, oh, I feel great still. But
Wow.
That's awesome.
Now, is it? I know you mentioned that you put your hands on folks. Is that the only way you work, or can you do some stuff remotely also?
You are reading my mind.
I do remote distance healing. I did a lady up in Syracuse, New York from Florida, and it worked. I've got a young gentleman from Staten Island, New York. I can say his first name is James. James came to me in Syracuse last year. He's a gentleman that had a Christ moment with me, found Jesus.
Wow.
And he was really twisting and turning on my table, and it was kind of freaking me out a little bit. I kept asking Spirit, like, what do I do? Is this guy possessed, or am I like really?
Is he having a epileptic seizure, or?
That's what it was like.
Wow.
He was really twisting around, and I got a little nervous, but they said, no, stay the course, hold on to him. And then he wrote me these beautiful emails on how he found Jesus. And this man now works for me. I hired him because I healed him a second time this past March in New Jersey when we were at a Heart of Oneness show. And he had such a good healing. He reached out again. So I reached back out to him. I was like, I need somebody to do marketing for me. And you're it. Like, you're young. He's in his 20s. I was like,
So he knows all that stuff.
You know what
That's
I
what
do.
we need, the young ones.
Right.
And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll work for you if you do distance healings on me. I'm like, you got it.
That's great.
I'll pay you, but that's going to be a bonus.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
Are you looking for anybody else?
No.
Oh man.
Not yet. I might, though. I may have an entourage after a while.
Well, if you are curious about Patrick, PatrickAngelichealer.com is Patrick with a CK at the end. We're going to add that in the show notes. But better yet, if you are in the DC area, this is the place to be. Come out to Chantilly, to the Dulles Expo, where this Spirit Fest is just starting to get hopping.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm a little worried about the noise. So hopefully you'll be able to hear us after a while. But definitely come check out the Spirit Fest, but definitely come and check out Patrick. But his energy, the minute we walked up to him, it was like, oh yeah, we need to have you on the show. So
I get that a lot.
yeah, I bet.
I could actually sit in my tent and I watch people walk by and they come back and they look inside and then they sign up.
I mean, that's kind of what happened to us, right? We were walking, so I was like, ooh. It's like you hear the backup noise, beep, beep, beep. It's like, we got. So then we're like, okay, you talk to them, I'm gonna talk to him because we got to have him on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, people that come to Spirit Fest, vendors love being near me because I spread energy all over.
very nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Beautiful.
It's
Well,
fantastic.
thank you for spreading your energy here in our booth. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate
It
you.
was a pleasure being here.
Likewise, it's pleasure meeting you. I'm sure we'll run into each other throughout the show. And if someone wants to reach out to you, is that the website the best way for them to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all my contact information is on the website, and feel free to send us a note if you'd like, or you can text me. I answer everybody.
All right.
Awesome. And so we are the Skeptic Metaphysicians, and you are watching this on newrealitytv.com.
Yep. Now we are back. We'll send you back to the
Regularly scheduled broadcast.
already in progress. Thanks for joining us.